Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast right here on the Winner's Circle YouTube channel. And I am joined today, I am Ross Benjamin, by the way, joined by Sean Higgs and Jesse Schule. Just like every Wednesday, we're going to be talking Major League Baseball today. We're going to be having free picks and analysis on games between the Astros and Mariners, the Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Kansas City Royals and Minnesota Twins. So 3 good matchups, and we'll attack them very shortly. But friendly reminder, folks, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take a second to do so. It costs you absolutely nothing. Just click on that subscribe button, or if you're on your PC, click on that WC logo in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And then while you're at it, click on the alert notification bell in your YouTube settings for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. And we are brought to you by gamblersworld.net, where all 3 of us and 7 other handicappers also at that great site where we guarantee all our picks. If you don't win, you don't make a profit on any single game or a multi-game daily package or any subscription plan of 30 days or fewer. We will credit your account back the exact amount in which you paid for that specific purchase. Jesse, how are you, my man?
I'm doing all right, Ross, but I don't think I'm making any friends. I gave out 2 prop bets on the NBA last night, and both of them came up empty. In fact, both of them came up way empty, and I should be embarrassed, but I think the amount of winners I've given out on this channel should outweigh the 0-2 performance last night. I'll be quick to tell people that if they attack me in the comment section.
Yeah, bottom line is, like I always say, Jess, it's like people the other day on another channel where I had the over 114 in the first half in the Indiana-Boston game, and I win 150. It fell on 115, and I needed a shot at the first half buzzer to get that win. And, of course, they got to chime in and tell me that, I was lucky. And then you also get the people chimed in and said, I didn't get 114. I got 115 and a half. I got 115. You know what? At the end of the day, if you win by 1 or you win by 20, you're going to get paid the same. If you lose by 1, you lose by 20, you get paid. Nobody's asking you for more money. Okay. So sometimes we're going to be way off, and you were yesterday, but like you just said, I mean, people lose sight of the fact that let's look at the whole body of work, and that goes for all of us. All right. And
let me tell you this, Ross.
Yeah.
I told you about the guy that commented on my video, and he said, man, I bought your subscription and I won the first pick. You're the real deal. You remember that guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we had a really good weekend. And then I asked him yesterday, I said, oh, how was your weekend? He said, oh, it was great. You won all the picks. But I didn't really bet any money. But now that I see that you're the real deal, I'm going all in today. And that was yesterday's game.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And of course he's going to blame me, right? It's like I'm the bad guy.
Yeah. And people will come in and say, don't pay attention to those trolls. Well, most times than not, we don't. But once in a while, we have to tell the story just to let you know what we deal with daily. And also a story like that, it borders on funny. I hate to say it. It borders.
Well, it's a cautionary tale of what not to do if you're buying picks. You don't fall in love with a guy after 2 days and then say you're gonna take out a second mortgage on your house on day 3. You just don't do that.
Yeah, no, I hear you, Sean. And how are you? Number 1 and number 2. I'm sure.
Good.
What's the rant of the day?
Nah, no real rant of the day today.
Yeah.
Actually, I get a little rant. Hold on a second. But I was going to say the old hitting a 1 at the buzzer. That's a never in doubter, right? Like the Cubs over yesterday. That's a never in doubt over yesterday when that game's.
Yeah, it's a perfect example, Sean, of what we talked about. I've talked about many times, and I don't think I can convince you guys. I certainly can't convince Doug Upstone that we forget the ones we win like that, right? Yeah. But if you lost the game like that, you had the under.
You feel it.
Everything is stacked up against you.
But that's like I say all the time. Like the win, like what's your biggest win? I don't know. They're all wins because I expect every game to win, whether it's 1 game or 7 games. They all win.
Say they're all big wins, right?
Yes. Yeah. So the loss sticks out again, you never remember the wins that you just eke out
Exactly.
because you expect to win. It's a win, you just move on. Win, win, win. You see the plus money, you move on. But the losses is 6 out. Then you dig into the losses. Like, what did I do wrong here? What happened?
Yeah.
That's
Well, a loss like that, if indeed you lost a game like that, you really shouldn't be digging into what the hell you did wrong. I think maybe what Jesse just described is what occurred yesterday, or what I described as one of us getting blown out in a game, which we're way off. And we've all been there, and several times.
what happens.
That's when you start doing assessing a little bit, but not overreacting, right, Sean?
No, because you're going to catch a blow. If the lines are there for a reason, right? They come up with a line, you think you're getting a better number, whether it's plus or minus. So sometimes you're going to be on the blowout side, like easy winner. Other times they just get there and it's a win. But you'll be on a bad one. You're like, man, what happened in this game? And then you see it's, somebody just had a bad one, or there's 3 interceptions and a pick for 6 in a game for you, whatever the case may be. I had the Mavs yesterday, and the kiss of death comes out when I got Kyrie saying, "Oh, it's their Super Bowl. It's just an average day for us. It's just a regular game." Like, really, bro? That's just that kind of stuff. I hear that, I'm like, I'm in trouble.
Yeah,
Like, that's
Karl Anthony Towns actually woke up last night. We criticized him heavily yesterday, and you got to give the guy credit. Although I think even at the defensive end, he gave up some really silly fouls. And when you're having a game like that and your team is on the ropes and on the brink of elimination, and you're having a great game, and
he
you're
fouled out
avoiding,
yesterday, didn't he?
well, he had 5
It was
fouls.
in the final 2 minutes though, so it was
Yeah.
kind of it didn't cost them.
No, but what I'm trying to say is there was a lot of foul, or a few fouls. It was unnecessary. It was 30 feet from the basket.
Well,
Anyway,
that last one on Luca though wasn't really his fault. Luca baited him
yeah,
into it, and then Luca jumps right in. And I mean, it was still by the letter of the law. I'm not saying it wasn't a
yeah,
foul,
yeah.
but I'm
That's the
saying
one he fouled out, right, Jess? If I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
and it's hard to blame him. It's hard to blame him for that one. He's trying to get up and contest a
Yeah.
shot, and then a guy jumps forward into you, and maybe they need to relook at that rule, because it does seem unfair when the offensive player jumps forward to initiate contact in a not and it's not really a basketball play, right? If you normally jump forward when you attempt a 3-point shot, fine, but when you're doing it just to initiate contact, maybe there's some ill intent there, something that could be looked at.
I say I don't hate that one. If you got a guy in the air, you lean into him.
Yeah.
You're better off going to free throw line to shoot 3 than firing a contested 3 that's your off
Yeah,
balance.
no doubt. Higher
I don't mind
percentage,
that. That's
right?
I can live with that kind of stuff. Like,
It's the bottom line is if you're a 35% 3-point shooter, or even a 40% 3-point shooter in the NBA, chances are if you're taking threes, you're going to be a hell of a lot better free throw shooter.
if you're a 50% free throw shooter, you should be or a 3-point shooter. You should be better at the free throw line.
Yeah.
Even in the lowly 70% range, you got a better shot at making 3 there than a guy who's 6'9" jumping 9 feet in the air in front of you.
Well, I had the Minnesota Timberwolves yesterday as my premium pick,
Nice
and I again, they were a 1.5 point dog, guys. They're down 3-0. They're on the road. They lose the first 2 games at home. They're on the brink of elimination. They were a 2.5, 3-point dog in a previous game, but they lose by 9, and now they come back, and it's on a 1.5 point dog. And again, I'll go back to this, and I don't think it had anything to do with the line, but Jesse, I think you'll agree, Sean too. Derek Lively II being out of the lineup hurt Dallas yesterday. It certainly did. Gafford played a nice game, though. Okay. But they have that rotation of those 2 guys certainly makes a big difference when it comes to the Mavericks.
Well, it's never been done. Does that mean it can never be done, guys?
Yeah. What's that? Never. Oh no, it's always a possibility.
Well, look at the odds right now. If you look at the odds on Minnesota to win the series, you'd think they'd be astronomical, right? They have to win the next 3, and it's never been done. So they're only plus 450 for the series right now.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
I wonder what were they after Game 3, Jesse? Do you remember? Or
40-1, 60-1. It would have been astronomical.
Yeah, no, it would have been 650, 700, I would think. When they were down 3-0.
Oh no, it would have been way more than that. Way more.
Yeah, and I got to research a little bit here because I can't remember the last time a team was down 3-0 and won on the road to extend the series and go back home. I'm really interested, and again, I'll get to that later today, but I'm really interested to see how teams do down 3-1 coming off a road loss. A road win, excuse me. I don't. There can't be a hell of a lot of situations like that because more times than not, a home team will close out the series at a high percentage anyway. It's been done before, obviously, but not at the rate of other situations during the playoffs. Also had the under 103 in the first half as a free play yesterday and cashed in as it was 49-49 at the half. I just missed my recommendation, like it was the day before, where I cashed both ends, was that if we won the under 103, is we were going to get a better number than the game total by betting the over at halftime. And sure enough, the game total was 211 at the time we recorded the video yesterday. After a 49-49 first half, it went to if you made that over bet right at the half, live betting, it was 205.5, and it fell on 205. So, I mean, again, there's some credence to what. Now, remember, folks, what I also recommended is if we cash the first half, is take 25 to 50% of that money, whatever you're comfortable with, in place. You want to make sure you're still making money because you're keying in on the first half bet. And that's exactly what I did the day before. And I hit both ends the day before. But again, something to look in. These are the types of situations when we discuss them, not only myself, but Jesse and Sean, where you have handicapping strategies that, sometimes you're going to fall short, like the 205.5 and it fell on 205. But there's something to be learned by that, right, Jesse? That's what people lose sight of when we give our analysis and our handicapping strategy in certain situations on specific games.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sean, any thing you want to add?
I'm jumping right to the free throws there, and I see that Anthony Edwards missed a free throw. Guy's an 83% free throw shooter and goes 5 of 8. That costs you. He costs you right there.
Well, yeah, and Luka makes that miracle 3 at the end where he gets fouled, by Anthony Edwards, and then he misses the free throw. So, I mean, hey, it's all part of it.
Yeah, but he had 10 of 12 free throws. I can't get on that guy. I mean, they missed 3 free throws on the team.
Anthony Edwards, I mean, I don't know, the whole series he hasn't hit free throws at a high rate.
That's what I'm saying. The guy's an 85% free throw shooter.
Yeah. Mike Connolly, 91% during the season, 69% in the postseason.
That's where I go to when I lose something by like half. I'm like, what the heck?
And that's a point. He's a point guard. I mean, backup point guard, if that, or whatever the case may be, where you're handling the ball now late in games. That's a concern. So anyway, all right, let's get to our baseball, guys. Sean cashed in yesterday. We did a video on another network, and I can't name it, but we went 3-0. As Sean had the Mariners -1.5 at money line odds of +160. They win 4-2. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jesse. What you had? Why don't you tell the folks?
Over in the Cleveland, Colorado game,
Ended up 13-7.
Barely got there.
And what did I have? I had the under in the San Diego Padres and Marlins game, and the final was 4-0. So let's see if we can carry that momentum onto our network here and our show here today. So let's start with you, Sean. You're going to be looking at the Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers. It'll be Shohei Amana. And there you go, folks. You're not going to be able to criticize me because I looked up the pronunciation of this name. I already filled in Sean on it, and he's probably going to pronounce it wrong just to piss you off.
Shohei Imania.
It's
from
Shohei
Arkansas.
Amana. Shohei Amana and Bryce Wilson.
Born in Arkansas, played at UCLA.
And the Cubs right now are $1.35 money line road favorite, and the total in this game is 7.5. Both of these bullpens have struggled at times. Cubs bullpen especially has been struggling of late. Sean, what do you got for us?
Oh, yeah. You think they've struggled, Doctor? I mean, how about you have a total yesterday? We talked about it earlier, Joe. I mean, 1-0, and it goes over the ninth
Yeah.
inning. Unbelievable. Um, Listen, everybody made a big deal about the Dodgers signing the guy Yamamoto, and how good is this guy?
Yeah.
This guy is the rookie of the year. I mean, he's been
Less than one
fabulous.
ERA, isn't he, in 9 starts? It's
Yeah, a .84 ERA. Are you kidding me? Holy cow! The guy's like unhittable. Um, let's listen. We're gonna take out the bullpens. We're gonna look at the first five. Normally, I don't look at first five here, right? It's like I'm a run line kind of guy. I think team's gonna win. I get a under, and it's low, 3.5. It was a plus 124 last night. It is down to a plus 105. So I'm gonna go to plus 105. I think the 4.5 is minus 110 or 115 ish, but I'm going to go 3.5 because I want the plus money. As good as Monabin, what's there to say about a guy with a 0.84 ERA and his whip? He has a high whip. Considering he's got a 0.84 ERA, his whip is like a 0.98. So that's bad. He's got a high whip. That's like a guy with a 3 ERA and a high whip or something, like backwards working when you look at this guy's ERA. But Bryce Wilson, actually, he has not been bad in he's one start. He came in like the second inning, but he's still going 5 or 6 innings, and he's been giving up 2-2, 2-0, 1 and 2 runs.
Yeah, his numbers are great. What's his
They're-
ERA for and whip for the year? Is really good, I thought.
Yeah, he's not terrible for what, like, you think like, oh, it's a bullpen guy, it's a spot starter kind of guy. Hey, listen, the Cubs are struggling offensively. That's why they're in a 3-9 run or whatever they are. They're not hitting the ball well. Give me the first 5 under here. I don't think we get a lot of. I'll be shocked if we have 3. If we have 4 runs for the game, I'd be shocked with these two guys. Oh, I should say that because it's going to go 8 or 9 innings and a bullpen comes in and all heck will break loose. But give me the under first 5 here, 3.5.
Yeah,
Plus money, plus 105.
And again, folks, what you said there was some 4s out there.
Yeah, there was a 4.5. I saw it was minus a 140 last night, but I saw a 4. I think it was like a 115, I believe, on.
All right, I'll look the
yeah.
current
You know me, I'm looking for a little plus. I'll go for the plus.
and again, there's one thing going plus money on a run line. There's another thing on a total, where you still got a plus money on a run line. It's either a win or a loss. Laying a little bit of juice to get an extra half a run on a total, to me, in baseball is worth it because I'd rather have a push than a loss. But if you're that confident,
listen.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to. It was a 140 minus 140.
Yeah, that's high.
4.5.
It's high.
Yeah.
Yes,
it's all right. I mean, that'll probably be that's like my limit for kind of stuff like that. But I'd rather I stick to my guns here with my pluses.
Yeah,
I'm going to look that up for us.
I mean, yesterday I could have criticized you very easily when we did that other show.
Yeah, we were talking about
Mariners were only what, minus 130, 135.
I did get my digs in there.
Yeah, Jesse, what do you got here in this Cubs matchup and what Sean had to say?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Shota Imanga. Shoha. How did you say that again, Ross?
Shohei Imana.
That sure doesn't look like how it's spelled.
No,
I
it's
like
a
that
silent G. It's a silent G, and the first name is pronounced Shohei. Again, I went into the encyclopedia on this one, so I can assure you we got the correct pronunciation. But go ahead, Jeff.
It's a minus 166 for 4.5. Minus 166, 4.5.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, you know how it works, Sean. If that's going to cash 7 out of 10 times, of course that logic didn't pay off yesterday. But
Jesse, like I told you, 7 in the next 8 it will cash. So there you go.
No, I mean the Cubs bats have sort of gone awful quiet of late. So certainly you expect a pitcher's duel, certainly for the first 5 innings here. I like it. Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm looking at it's 4 across the board now, with the exception of Circa. It has it at 3.5. It's 4 across the board at minus 120, minus 125. So again, if you can get plus money, find it somewhere at 3.5. Sean recommends you do that. Otherwise, the 4, I don't think, Sean, you're okay with laying at 120, 125.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah. So there you have it. I mean, that's what I would recommend you do, folks. I don't get greedy. Sean likes to take a little more chances than I do, but Sean also is like me and doesn't like to lay a lot of juice. So I could see where he's coming from with that.
Well,
And
I was on the DraftKings site. They didn't have a flat 4, so that's why it was either 3.5 or the 4.5. And I was like, it was minus 140 last night. It was plus 124. That's what I was initially. Oh, plus 124. I'll take that. I think it'll be a 1-0, if anything, in the score in the game. Could be 0-0 in the 6th inning.
that's why, folks, if you could afford it, it's crucial to open up accounts at as many legal sports books as you can, so you could shop a line like this, and you never know, you can catch a better number. If you marry yourself to just one sports book, your choices are limited. Okay, and look, it's isolated situations where it could benefit you, but that isolated situation could be the difference between a winning and a losing week, a winning and a losing month. So you keep that in mind going forward. Okay, let's get to your game. Jesse, Kansas City and Minnesota. It looked like it was going to be postponed. As you let me know, the weather forecast was like 100% chance of precipitation yesterday, and it's since turned around, and looks likely this game is going to go. It'll be Seth Lugo going for the Kansas City Royals. It'll be Bailey Ober going for the Minnesota Twins. And right now, the Minnesota Twins are a minus 130 money line favorite. The total in this game is 7.5. Jesse, the Kansas City Royals, I still think they're undervalued. They continue to be undervalued. And I'm not so sure this team, in the makeup that they have, the combination of hitting and pitching, is the most sustainable in the AL Central compared to like a Minnesota or even a Detroit, who's got great pitching but can't hit their way out of a paper bag. What's your thoughts here?
Well, they rank 3rd in Major League Baseball in scoring, but they've sort of cooled off of late. I guess 3 straight losses. Yeah. And you mentioned the weather report was calling for 100% chance of rain. I guess 100% has gone down to almost no chance of rain. Just like that. It's amazing. But the weather report also says light breezes blowing in will reduce home run opportunities in this game. And it looks like a potential pitcher's duel to me. You got Seth Lugo, 8-1, 1.74 ERA, whip of 0.97. And I'm sure you guys are quite familiar with Lugo. He's been around for a long time, used to play with the Mets. And I'm just going off memory now. I didn't bother looking this up. I didn't have time, but my memory of Lugo is the guy always seems to have a really low ERA, never seems to get roughed up a lot. Certainly at this time of year, but yet he's bounced around. He's never really a big name that people are throwing around as if he's this great pitcher. But I've seen him post great numbers often, and I'm wondering if either of you guys can refresh my memory. Is he a guy that tends to run out of gas in the second half of seasons or something like that?
At one time, he was a reliever.
He's a bullpen guy for the Mets.
Yeah. And he's a converted starter. But in terms of my memory, jogging back to know if he runs out of gas, I don't know. But all I do know is we're still in the first half of the season. And all I do know, too, is Kansas City is 5-0 on the road whenever Lugo is their starter, and his 0.75 ERA and 0.69 whip in those 5 starts are a major reason why. And by the way, in those 5 starts, he averaged 7.2 innings pitched per start. I mean, this is a guy who's giving you innings too, Jesse. 6.6 innings pitched per start this year, which is extremely high by modern Major League Baseball standards, as you well know.
I know he spent a long time in the pen, for not just for the Mets, but I think he bounced around for a while as a bullpen guy. But he did have his stints as a starter, I believe, for the Mets as well.
I got him in front.
My memory serves me. Okay.
So he was on San Diego last year as a starter, 26 starts, not bad, 3.57 ERA. Okay. He was on the Mets before that, starting in 2016. But he was both 17 games, 8 starts. Then he was a full-time starter, basically 18 starts. But 2.67 ERA, then a 4.71, basically as his first full year, like his second year in the leagues. Then 54 games, 5 starters, but a 2.6 ERA, 61 out of the pen, a 2.7. Then I think he was hurt because he only had 16 games, 7 starts, so he had a 5 ERA. Assuming he was injured. Then back to the bullpen, 46 games, a 3.5, 62 games, a 3.6. So not bad. But if you're going to yo-yo a guy, he looked like a starter his first 3 years. I mean, he had decent numbers for the Mets. I don't know, hey.
So the consensus seems to indicate that he's a veteran that's been a well-traveled veteran that's had
solid.
good stuff and put up decent numbers.
I don't think he's worn down. That's for sure. I mean, and again, if I recall correctly, Sean, he was an 8th and 9th inning guy for a while with the Mets. He was in a closer role, and he sort of failed in that role. But what my point being is, this is a guy, if you look at the longevity he's been in the league, he's got less wear and tear because he spent half his time, it seems like, as a reliever, which limited his innings pitched. So if that helps at all, Jesse, in regards to
we also have Bailey Ober going for the Twins, 5-2, 4.33 ERA, and you might look at that 4.33 ERA and say, not so good. But then you look at his WHIP, 1.04, and that's an indication that we should see some positive regression. Ross likes to call it progression, but I like to call it positive regression. But yeah, no, I think that WHIP would indicate that that ERA should go down a little bit moving forward for Ober. And Ober, again, this is just going off my memory of this guy because he's been with Minnesota for a while now. Just seems like he's one of the more dramatic split stats guys every year, better at home than on the road, like significantly. There's a lot of guys in the league that are like that they have an ERA in the mid 2 to 3 ERA at home and a 4 to 5 ERA on the road, and he strikes me as one of those guys.
Yeah, he's got right now. Let me look at this again. I was just glancing at that and noticed the home and away splits. He's in the 2s, Jesse, at home this year in 4 starts. Let me get the exact figures.
257.
257. And I believe
550 on the road.
Yeah.
I think that trend would hold true throughout his career as well, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
listen, he saw 3.3 last year at home, 3.38 the year before. I mean,
091 WHIP at home too. I'll go with that 257, Sean. So the only thing is he doesn't give you monster innings. He's only averaging a little over 5 innings per start. Go ahead, Sean.
No, I was gonna say his overall numbers for his career aren't terrible either. For his 3 years, he's a 3 ERA pitcher.
Yeah, and in this case, you got one guy that's giving you major innings, and Lugo has been highly effective this year, extremely impressive, especially on the road. And then one guy is a homer pitcher, and that's okay as long as we could utilize that. And he gives you not a lot of innings, but you have a bullpen in Minnesota right now that's been very good over the last 7 games. And Kansas City's not so bad either. So, what do you got here, Jesse?
Despite the fact that Kansas City ranks 3rd in baseball in scoring, they've gone under 10 more times than they've gone over this season. Yeah. So I like under 7.5 in this game. I think it's going to be a pitcher's duel.
Well, that speaks to their pitching, right? I mean, they're only allowing 3.5 runs per game, and they got a run per game differential of plus 1.3. So, yeah, they've lost their last 3 in a row, Sean. But I mean, that run differential. I mean, you compare that to Minnesota, who's 30-24, a winning record, but their run per game differential is only plus 0.1. So they're basically even in that department. Kansas City is, again, this is why I say when I see that run per game differential, their bullpen numbers and like Jesse alluded to, they're hitting very well. And I don't think that hitting numbers are a fluke at this point. I just think they have the most sustainability to win in the AL Central, Sean.
Yeah, no, I Kansas City's team. I have an over on them for the season. The Twins, though, to me, I don't like the lineup as much.
No.
And again, this is every lineup. Everybody strikes out. It's ridiculous. The metric people like, oh, you don't have to get hit. Strikeouts are okay. That's a whole nother argument. You want to rant, boy, you'll get a rant from me on this kind of nonsense. But I'm with Jesse on the under here. We got two good pitchers, and I lineups that strike out a heck of a lot. So give me the under.
Yeah, as opposed to yesterday, I'm not going to buck these two guys. And I'm going to agree with them on this one. I mean, all the data points toward an under, and sometimes you just need to keep it simple. And if it all points to an under and you can't find under, I mean, there's no strange number here. 7.5 is a pretty honest number, I would say. In terms of the head-to-head battles, Minnesota has gone 16-3 at home over the last 3 years against Kansas City. So they've dominated them. But we're not worrying about the side. So Jesse likes the under 7.5 in the Kansas City, Minnesota game. Me and Sean both agree with him. Sean, he likes the first 5 in the Cubs and Milwaukee game to go under 4. And I agree with him there. Jesse, I think you did as well, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So as opposed to yesterday where somebody applauded us for not all agreeing, I'm sorry, we're going to revert back to form, I guess. So,
Well, there's one more game to go. So
yeah, okay, that's true. That's true. I don't mean to make any assumptions. All right, so my game's the Houston and Seattle game. Seattle is a minus 110 money line favorite. The total in this game is 7. This is a Seattle team that's gone 4-0 to the under in their last 5. 4-0 to the under in their last 4 and 15-5 to the under in their last 20 at home. So they played a lot of low-scoring home games, and a lot of that has to do with pretty good pitching, pretty good bullpen work, and a team that struggles offensively. George Kirby gets a start for the Seattle Mariners, and he's been extremely good at home this year. In 5 starts, a 2.97 ERA and a 0.82 WHIP at home, and a very impressive 34-3 strikeout to walk ratio. And again, I look at, the innings pitched per start, and he's averaging just a tad over 6 innings pitched per start at home. And that's really good, folks, because now you shorten the life of the bullpen and you don't become as vulnerable when you get into the middle relief, and you're putting more emphasis on your 7th, 8th, and 9th inning guys, which should be your most effective bullpen guys on paper anyway. It doesn't always play true to form in that regard. Kirby, 5 career starts at home, or 5 career starts versus Houston, at Houston or Seattle, and he's dominated against a very good hitting team. And maybe not so much this year, Houston being a dominant hitting team, but in past years, we know how offensively explosive Houston can be. And in those 5 career starts against Houston that all occurred since 2022, a 1.21 ERA and an 0.91 WHIP. So he's matched up very good against his potent Houston Astros lineup, and he's gone 6 innings or more in all 5 of those starts, against the Houston Astros. The Seattle bullpen, I mentioned them earlier, much better at home than on the road. 2.88 ERA at home and an 0.90 WHIP, which are excellent numbers for a bullpen staff. Justin Verlander, getting up there in age, but he's in good form over his last 3, 2.55 ERA and 1.02 WHIP. And 2 of those starts came on the road, and in those 2 starts on the road, 13 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 10 hits, and 17 strikeouts against 2 walks. So his last 2 road starts have been magnificent. This is his first start against Seattle this year. He made 1 last year, and that was at Seattle, and he dominated the Mariners in that start, giving up just 1 earned run on 3 hits and 8 innings pitched. Houston's bullpen over their last 7 has been very good as well. 2.41 ERA, a 1.00 WHIP. The Astros have played 16-9 to the under on the road this year. That's 64% of the time. The head-to-head series between these AL West rivals this year has seen just 1 of the 6 games go over the total and a combined average of just 6.6 runs scored per game. I'm going with the Astros and the Mariners under the total of 7. Okay, Jesse, I'm guessing you might have a chance of disagreeing with me here, but go ahead.
Unfortunately, Ross, I can't bring myself to disagree, but I will offer you some criticism.
Okay.
You could have been more creative. This is a rather obvious play. It feels like I feel let down that you couldn't have come up with something more interesting than just betting the under in a Seattle game. I'll pass it on to Sean.
Some along the lines of what I did yesterday in the NBA. Hey, you know what, man? We can't be. Sometimes I'll sacrifice keeping it simple and winning as opposed to trying to create creativity. Yeah, create creativity. And lose. Sean?
I his numbers are great at home, Kirby. And I got into like not an argument. There was a little discussion on Twitter, like, oh, he's better than Maddox at this age. Look at the walks. He's got 6 walks in 62 and 2/3 innings or whatever. But the guy's given up 4 or more runs in half of his starts. Five or more runs in 4 of his 11 starts. I mean,
And
granted, they're on the road,
if I'm not mistaken, all of them are on the road, though, right, Sean?
but I mean, for
Yeah.
the hype that the guy get, I get you're at home,
He's-
you pitch a little better at home.
It's a
split-wise.
terrible comparison.
Listen, I'm not saying the guy's Greg Maddox.
I know.
They're like, well,
No,
look at
I'm
his
not.
first years, he's got better
I'm
numbers.
saying the people who are throwing that out there.
Well, they're like considering at his age in year 3 compared to what Maddox had more walks or something. Like, I mean, you can't compare these pitchers because this. I like Kirby, but I'm pretty sure this is the same cat who said, "Oh, I don't know why they sent me out there for the 7th inning. I was at 100 pitches." Really?
Yeah.
That guy's got no heart. I can't back him. Verlander's an old guy, but at least he's a bulldog. He's go out there and go 7+. He does not care. I like the Astros here in this spot, believe it or not, as a small. I see it as like a pick'em kind of -103. So I don't know.
If he doesn't want to come out for the 7th inning, he's thrown 6 scoreless innings. I'm okay with it because the Mariners bullpen is good. But I know what you're saying.
He complained in a game where he got shelled afterwards, and he's like, "I don't know why he sent me out there." I'm trying to pinpoint what game that was. It might have been against Minnesota. He gave up 4 runs in five innings. Could have been that. I don't know which game it was, but he gave up runs. He complained. I think. I'm like, baby.
Yeah, well,
That guy wants a bad beat refund and a participation trophy.
I'm looking at the total here, which is 7. It is low, and for good reason. Again, crybaby or not, he's pitched good at home, and I only need 6 good innings out of him anyway, because I'm very confident the Mariners bullpen, who has been doing the job of late, will get it done, especially at home. The Mariners bullpen. It's amazing when you look at this team's home and away splits from a pitching perspective. I never got a lot of confidence in teams that have such, how could I put it, disparity between home and away, Jess. I'm looking for more consistency when I take a team seriously. Yeah, this is a first place team, but what are they, like 3 games over 500? So in any event. All right, Jesse is going once again. Jesse is going with the under 7.5 in the Kansas City, Minnesota game. Sean Higgs likes the Cubs and Milwaukee Brewers to go under 4 in the first 5. Ross Benjamin, yours truly, likes the Astros and the Mariners under 7.
I need to correct myself,
Okay.
Ross. Hold on. He complained that he wasn't sent out for the 7th inning after throwing 90 pitches. I thought he was complaining that they sent him out after 90. It was reversed.
You're gonna switch your pick. You're gonna back Kirby and
No, I'm not gonna back him here. I just got to correct myself.
Opinion on him. It's just when he misconstrues what I say, and then no. He listens to the tape and sees that I made sense, and then I'm his buddy. So
that's, no. I
still got a bit of a puke taste in my mouth about the Maddox comparison. There's a little bit of puke taste.
Well, that wasn't from him. That was just from Stat Geeks. But that I wanted to. I had it reversed of. I thought he complained about going out there after 90 pitches. He wanted to go out because he only threw 90 pitches. So I was like, oh no,
I'm so sick and tired of these kids doing these comments about young players that are better than Hall of Famers, and we're done with the 90s kind of talk. But I've been around for long enough to realize that 99% of the time when people start making these bold proclamations and comparisons, it's just a matter of time before they're proven dead wrong.
I guess we lost Ross. Did he freeze up?
He's back.
You know what happened? Seth shut me off because I was getting loud. That's what happened.
Wrap it up, Ross. I'm sorry to jump in there. I had to correct myself because that definitely would have got comments. That would have definitely got a lot of blowback in the comment section because I had it backwards.
No problem, buddy. You got to say what's on your mind, my friend. You know what I mean? And I would rather you correct yourself if you find you were wrong, like me or Jesse. then just to let it be, because we'll never hear the end of it. You lose a little bit of credibility when that happens. All right. So you guys will be back with me on Friday for a 1 p.m. Live show. Who knows? I mean, we're scheduled to do baseball
Game 7.
but if Minnesota comes up big on Thursday night, I think I might rearrange the ship, and we might be talking about Game 6 in Dallas. So we'll see what happens. But these guys will be back with me Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Also, I'll be back tomorrow with Chip Chirimbus and Doug Upstone. We'll be talking baseball at that time. And also, it's a possibility if I can get one of these two guys to join me, and my man Seth could find some time, we might be able to do Game 5 that we didn't anticipate was going to occur. I did anyway, but these two guys didn't. And we'll talk about that at that time tomorrow as well. So a lot of good things coming up, folks. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's the Winner's Circle Sports Betting channel. Go into your YouTube settings and click on the alert notification bell. Jesse's going to tell you what to do with that like button underneath.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button, folks. Just a small token of your appreciation for the work, time, and effort we put in to bringing you a quality podcast each and every day, 5 times a week. I shouldn't say each and every day, 5 times a week. How's that? Because I'll get criticized for that too. So
each and every day, Monday to Friday.
Each and every day, Monday to Friday, you know. And for Sean Higgs, the second senior, and for Jesse Schule, cool Jesse Schule, and for Uncle Ross, take care and God bless, folks.